So this is a Swigt Conqueror 530, going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got hitch, handbrake and jockey wheel. This is all stuff we'll go through in person here on site. Front locker, you've got your gas bottle with gas pipe work going to the bottle. And then you've got your water pump for the onboard water tank in the front locker also. So there's two different water pumps in this van. One is for the onboard water tank and one is for the direct tap feed, which is essentially just through the hot water tank. I'll explain that in a second a bit more. Got your order heating flue on the side of the van, which is essentially a gas flue for the heating and hot water systems. You've got your wind down legs on either side of the caravan at the front to stabilise the caravan while it's on site. You'd never lift the caravan with these wind down legs, they are just there for stabilising. Now when I was around the front of the van, I said to you about two different water pumps for the van. So the bottom one here is a is a pickup pipe that connects to the bottom connection here, which goes direct to the taps via the hot water tank. The top connection on the outside here is actually for your onboard water tank, and you'd need to use the other pump that is in the front locker that has actually got a pump on it, and I believe it's also got blue pipe work on that one, so I'll just show you that before I do any more. So the one with the blue pipe work you need to use to fill the onboard water tank, and you connect it to the top connection on the outside to fill that onboard tank. And the bottom one, like I said, is for direct to tap, so essentially it'll fill the hot water tank up and the pipe work around the van, however it won't fill up the onboard water tank. Now when we go inside the van, I'll explain to you how you fill the tanks, or the onboard tank and the hot water tank, and the two different ways of doing it. Got your mains power lead coming into the side of the caravan with your 110 amp leisure battery in there with quick release terminals on top. And you always need to make sure when you're travelling this battery bracket is in place at the bottom so the battery doesn't fall out the side of the van essentially. Motor mover and the wheel nuts. The wheel nuts will be torqued before the caravan leaves site to the correct manufacturer's recommendation, and then we'll demonstrate the motor mover to you also while you're here on site. Got your grey waste pipes coming out the side of the van. These grey waste pipes are for the fresh water that goes in the front once it's been through the taps, through the sink and shower, and this is where the water comes back out of. So there'll be two pieces of grey pipe with the caravan that you'll put into these larger diameter circles on the outside, push them into place, and they'll drop down into a waste master. Toilet flush tank takes 3.5 litres of water, so you'd open it up with a key, put in 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of the pink fluid. In the bottom here, you have your toilet waste cassette. Toilet waste cassette releases by pulling up the orange handle and pulling the cassette towards you. The neck here turns out so you can tip the waste away, and the grey cap here is a measure for the blue fluid. You've got an orange pressure relief button on the back of the cassette, so when you're tipping the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. Before you use the cassette, you'd need to put 1 litre of water in and a cap full of the blue fluid. On the back of the van again, you have two wind down legs, and like I said at the front, you'd never lift the van with these. It could actually potentially damage the floor of the caravan if you did do that. So they are just there for stabilising, so you just put them down so they're touching the ground with a little bit of pressure on them, not excessive pressure, which is like lifting the van up. Like I said, it will just stabilise the van while you're using it on site. Coming down the door side, you've got your fridge vents on the side of the van. Just here, and they're essentially allow hot air out the back of the fridge unit, and behind one of these is also a gas flue for the gas system on board the van for the fridge. 3-pin socket, so you can have power coming out to your awning. Storage locker for underneath the front bunk, or front seat, sorry, and then you've got your barbecue gas point on the front also. Going inside the van now, very simple to use caravan. Above the door you've got your main control panel for the van, so you've got power on, as you can see. You've got your vehicle battery voltage, so essentially that's the power that's coming from the car you're towing with to the caravan when you're towing down the road. And then you've got your leisure battery voltage here, fresh water level, which I'll explain to you in a moment, and then you've got view levels here that will bring up the battery voltages on either side, or the fresh water level. In a moment, when I go and turn the power on, you'll notice that there then is a green light here and a green light in the caravan. Essentially, this is representing the power post we're connected to here on site. And the green dot is indicating to me that we've got power inside of the van. So to fill the water system on board the van, you're going to come underneath the front seat on the right hand side, and underneath here you will find an onboard water tank. Now, to fill the water system on board this van, you're going to need to make sure that you put this valve down and you put this valve down. Now, to run from the external supply, which is essentially the aqua roll, you would need to then make sure that the white valve that you see here, and to be quite honest, this is the way I would recommend running the system, is in the position pointing to the right of the caravan. If you want to fill the big onboard water tank here at the back, which holds about 40 litres of water, so about the same as an aqua roll, you would need to put this valve in the down position to be able to fill the onboard water tank. You'd essentially fill the system in the same way as what I'm about to explain. It is just the case of, if you want to run from the onboard tank, you have the white valve pointing to the right, or if you want to run from the onboard water tank, you need to have it pointing downwards as it is now. I'm going to demonstrate it in the position so it runs from the aqua roll on the outside of the van. So the valve is in the right position now. We're then going to come over to every tap on board the caravan. Open all the taps up on the hot side, as you can see here. So the taps are open on the hot side of the water system. All the taps open, and then you're going to press the water pump button above the door. At that point, the water system is going to start filling. The fresh water level here will bleep for a few minutes, because it's just essentially letting you know that the onboard water tank is empty. Like I said, you don't have to use it. Whichever way you fill the system, you have to open all the taps up, whether you're filling from the onboard tank, or filling the onboard tank, or whether you're filling from the aqua roll. So like I said, valve to the right to run from the aqua roll underneath the seat, the white one. And if you're running from the onboard tank, you'll need to have it pointing downwards. Now, as you can see, I'm pointing the camera at the tap so you can see how it feels essentially. Thought I'd already got water in the van, I hadn't done it, so I do apologise. So it was going to take us a few minutes just to get this filled. What I'll do is I'll run through the fridge while we're waiting for that to fill. So we're going to turn on the fridge and the power button on the front here. At the moment, as you can see here, we've got mains power as the source for the fridge. If you're on mains power or gas, you can control the temperature of the fridge on the button on the right hand side. If you want to run from the 12 volt supply, so when you're towing down the road, you can use the fridge as a cool box. You can put it onto 12 volt mode here, and that essentially runs from the car power supply, not the battery on board the caravan, and it is for only for when you are towing. If you want to ignite the fridge on gas, you go to the gas symbol just here, and that is the gas option for the water heat for the fridge system. It will self-ignite on gas, and if it ever failed to ignite, which it will do in the moment because the gas isn't turned on, the blue light here will flash and it will come up with a warning code on the right hand side here to indicate it has failed to ignite. If that ever happens, we advise you just make sure the gas bottle's turned on, come back to the gas system and try to reignite it on the fridge, or bleed the hob first, so essentially get the gas through on the hob first, which will allow you then to use the, or then allow you to ignite the fridge. Again, like I said, on gas, you'll use a temperature control on the right hand side, and to turn the fridge off, you'll press and hold the power button, and the fridge will turn off. As you can see, the water system's now full, so at that point I'm going to shut all of the taps on board the caravan. So it's all the taps now turned off, and we can start warming the water off from in the onboard hot water tank. So just here by the door, we've got a control panel that says Audio on it. We're going to press the store reset button. We're going to come across to the left where it says on, off, just here. We're going to select on, and that now means the control panel is active and it will start controlling the heating and hot water. Sorry, the screen's a bit blurred. Next up, we're going to come across to the internal temperature of the caravan. So this is essentially your room temperature. So you've got plus or minus to set the room temperature. Obviously, this is a wet central heating system, so it will take a little while to warm up. Probably about half an hour, 40 minutes before you start feeling some good heat from the heaters. You've then got the option to run your hot water. So if I come across again, I can select on or off. So as you can see, on for the hot water and off. It will self-boost on this sort of control panel. You don't need to turn it on to boost. Come across to the right and you've got your option to run your gas for the heating and hot water. So you've got on or off for the gas supply. Come across to the right again, you've got the option of the amount of power you've got coming into the caravan. So if you're off grid, for instance, and you need to use gas, you'd set it on gas. However, if you've got mains power coming into the caravan, you can select either 1 or 2 kilowatts on this particular van. So for instance, if you're on a site where you've got 2 kilowatts of power available, and you would need to ask the site office to know what you have got available, you can select the 2 on here and it'll allow you to run the heating and hot water systems on the maximum power available. That is essentially your heating and hot water control panel. If you have any questions on this, please do give us a call. It's not an issue at all. We're more than happy to help. Cooker and microwave, they are very much the same as your household supplies. You've got an igniter on the front here, which will allow you to ignite the cooker, etc. on gas. The 240 ring at the back will only work when you've got a mains connection coming into the caravan. The last thing we're going to go through on this particular caravan is the toilet system. Electric flush on top of the toilet. Full indicator light for the toilet waste cassette, so that light there will appear red when the toilet waste cassette is full. The toilet turns for your convenience, as you can see, so if you so you can essentially get comfortable on the loo as it was. And then you've got your toilet waste handle down the bottom here, which will allow you to open up the waste cassette so the waste goes straight down into the cassette under the van. The toilet seat does turn for your convenience. However, when you are removing the waste cassette from underneath the van, you need to make sure it is coming straight across and not turned at all, because it has 2 lockout tabs on the cassette. So this is a Swigt Conqueror. As I said, if you have any further questions on the caravan, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'd be more than happy to help. We appreciate your business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.